What's happening, Hatters? How are we doing? Yes, Friday, March 20th. I am doing good. I'm ready to kick this weekend's butt and start it back up again on Monday. We've got a lot of exciting games next week, not only on the hardwood, right, with our volleyball and basketball games, but we're starting softball too, Tuesday. All right, if you want to get into the softball league, it's not too late. Register on IM Leagues. Have somebody on your team submit me your team availability. Those who already submitted their team availability, you can expect to get into the game next week for softball. Futsal, soccer, you're 2 weeks out. Registration is ongoing for both, but I'll tell you what, faster you can get in on IM Leagues and faster I can get that availability, you'll be in the game before you know it. It's almost April, right? Our championship games for basketball and volleyball, I'm looking at April 1st, April 2nd, for those that are feeling extra confident going into next week and got your sights on the championship game. Those are the dates I'm looking at. I think it's been a tremendous season. Thank you for all the teams that have came out and are eliminated. We hope to see you on the softball field. But hey, enough of that. This is going to, this is about the referees, all right? This is an episode of Serving Our Futures. Bam! We're going to take a look at 13 different plays across 2 different games. If you remember the SigEp versus, what was that game that went into double OT? The Bucket Squad. Yeah, we're going to look at some of those plays and plays from the Staph infection and the, what did they play? Picap game. Yeah, both of them very exciting. The SigEp one went into double OT. Oh, yeah. All right, and yeah, let's get into it. Play number 1. Here we go. All right, nothing too exciting about this play. We have a player who thinks he's fouled, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is look at your head. You see how you turn your head? I want you to be wider so you don't have to turn your head, right? Time is money when we referee basketball. And I think if you're a step wider, then you never have to turn your head away, right? We want to be able to make sure all of our peripherals are on the court. And this is incidental contact, right? It's a loose ball. They're both going towards it. I think his feet get, right there, just hits his knee. Like that's no fault of this Picap player. So it's just a play on. I want to recognize that his hands went up, right? Early in the game, I think all we need to do is just direct eye contact, let him speak, let him feel that we're listening, and then just get to the next play. And then if this becomes excessive, then of course we're going to have to address it in a different way. So it's a good no call, but just the thing I want you to learn here, Rainer, is be wider so your peripherals are all on the court all the time. You're not looking behind your back. All right, next play. Just another example of what I'm talking about, Rainer. This is a little worse, how you look back. Let's take a look again. If you're wider, your head's never going to have to turn and look over your shoulder, right? You can turn your body, right? Turn your torso to face the court. I want you to fix this, right? I see it twice now in the first 4 minutes, so I can tell that this might be a habit of yours, not just like, an outlier. So happy to bring this to your attention. I know this is an easy fix. All right, let's get to the next one. All right, third play, foul, center court. It's obvious foul, but I think the question here is, does it become an intentional foul or an F1, right? If we're talking college rules. Well, we go by high school rules. It's the same consequence, same outcome as the 2 shots and ball nearest the foul. I think as the play develops, it might look like it's an intentional foul, but let's think about what is the consequence of that? And where has the game been going up to this point? 0 issues, right, in the game. And I think that there is a foul before, that kills this play dead, before it develops into what you see as kind of bear hugging the player, right? That one could argue that's excessive. And excessive and unnecessary is kind of what we're looking for. But I think that the first foul comes on him going for the ball. And then as the guard turns and goes up court, it makes it look like he's being bear hugged, right? And the defender never lets go. So I'm really happy that we have a common foul on this. I think an intentional foul is way too much, right? 2 shots and ball. We're going to add that into the game, right? I just don't think that the game needs that right now. There could be a time and place for that, right? At the end of the game when the defense is trying to foul on purpose to get a certain person, on the line, right? We want to be able to make a legitimate attempt on the ball is how the rule explains it. And this is gray. I think it's gray. I think that there's an argument for the other way, but like just we're what our first 10 minutes of the game, not too many fouls are called, no issues. That would be over officiating this play. So I'm very glad that these three came up just with common and I know that everyone's dancing around and we need to address that, right? Like they're trying to manipulate this for their best interest and they know that hey, it could be there, right? There are a couple of check boxes of an intentional foul that we all can see, but what's best for the game is a common foul. Good stuff, you three.
Don't let him get middle, Jacob.
All right, here's the next play. It's not about whether the call is right or wrong. It's about mechanics and making sure that we are refereeing the system, and all three of us. That the foul is coming from the right referee at the right place at the right time. And this is Lee's play. Lee blows on it, right? I don't see Slot. Oh, there's Slot. There's Isaiah. He did a really heck of a job this game. It's not Slot's play because he's close, right? When we looked at how the half court is divided in primary coverage area, right? That PCA. Trail's got everything outside that three-point line. Trail, which is Carlos here, he's going to stay engaged on plays to the basket. But when we're sunk so far low under the hoop, like Lee's got the best look at this. And we got to have discipline to not be blowing out of our coverage area or be a little patient when we're calling out of our coverage area and allow our partner to have first crack at it because he's going to have the best and most credible opinion on this play. And it throws everything off, right? This should have been a very smooth. Rainer pops his whistle, takes a couple feet off that baseline, goes to the reporting area, pops it, boom, number, color, number, right? Foul, what's coming next? But now we have a double whistle. It adds confusion to it. And our eyes when we blow go directly to like the number of the defender. And when we have it all congested like that, right, we're trying to find arms. Like we got two defenders there, two arms swiping down. And now that double whistle distracts our focus, and now we lose our number, right? We look back and the two players that were involved, they're all scattered, right? It could have been 5 and 5's at the division line. No, you know what I mean? Like foul is going on 36, and it is a correct call. But Carlos, I want you to be able to recognize, like, as you did, like, that's a foul. But I want you to take the next step, add that discipline to not blow. Like, if it's your play, yeah, blow. Be aggressive in your primary. But if it's not in your primary, I want you to be way more passive. And if Rainer doesn't blow and it's obvious and the game needs it, yes, I want you to blow and take this to the table. But Rainer does blow. All right, moving on. Okay, this one is a little more unusual, atypical. It's about kind of massaging the clock and where we are in the game. When this play happens, there's less than 10 seconds. And by our intramural rule, the clock does not stop until the last 2 minutes of the second half. We in the first half. So we have a shooting foul, right? We have 2 free throws that are going to be owed to number 11 right here. So, like, I want us to recognize that, oh, crap, we're under 10 seconds. The buzzer is going to come off. I don't want this buzzer to come off when the shooter has it, because if he misses his shot, he's now going to be like, oh, I missed it because the buzzer went off. And now the other team's going to be like, no, that's bullshit. You just missed it. And now we're in a box like, what are we going to do? Are we going to call a disconcertion on the score clock? No, that's not a rule. But we may have to be sensitive, like that's could have been that's what happened. So we can just prevent all of that, right? As soon as I blow, I'm going to know what's up with that game clock. And I'm going to start coaching the players, directing the players. Hey, go to your bench. All right, I just need the shooter. He's going to get 2 shots. All right, we're going to go into halftime. All right, no need to have people in the spaces. Go ahead. You guys are going to go. You're going to get an extra minute of halftime. All right, cool. All right, can you get your guy? Can you help me? Like, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Before I even go and report that foul, I'm directing the players to their bench. So it's pretty smooth. Like after I report my foul, bam, blue, 35, gets him on the arm, 2 shots, then my partner can just go ahead and administer. I'm kind of jockeying around with you, but like this could be problematic. And what I really liked about Carlos is he recognized that we're going to have a problem with the buzzer. But what Carlos does is he directs the scorekeeper to stop the clock with 1 second left. And now we got players in the lane spaces because we have to if there's 1 second left and the game clock stopped. And look what happens. We actually have a lane violation, right? Did you notice that? I've been talking this entire time. The guy in the high block just bailed out of his spot. And we don't call a lane violation, and it should have been a lane violation. But we didn't even need any of those players in the lane spaces. This is how the game says, gotcha, when we do something like this is kind of silly. Carlos had the best interest in mind, and I spoke to him at halftime about there's the lane violation right there. I spoke to him about this at halftime. Like, all I want you to do instead is send the players and let the game clock be at 0. Because now what you did is you made up a rule. You stopped the clock by yourself in a situation that you're not authorized to. Right? I know you're trying to do what's right for the game, but there's an option here to be more cosmetic. So we're doing what's right for the game without making up rules. And look at, there's a lane violation. Gotcha. I hope this helps, right? And we got lucky, right? Because PyCap didn't even notice the lane violation. Staph infection noticed the clock, but like you're owed 2 shots anyways. If it was a common foul and we don't have shots, yeah, they're going to have to call a timeout in order to really have a chance to get an inbound. And Staph infection was actually trying to call a timeout here because they were thinking they needed to get these 2 shots, or excuse me, not Staph, PyCat. They were trying to call a time. And Carl's like, no, you don't need to call a timeout. I'm gonna stop before you because of yada 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 yada. So I love the intentionality here. I really do. And I hope this helps us be more cosmetic.
Yo, you stop the shit out of it. Don't make that
All right, anybody like juice? Anybody like drama? All right, here's a double technical foul. We can talk about the play all the way through. I'm just going to rewind this back. Arms out wide like that. It's not legal defense. The dribbler is going east to west, not attacking the hoop. So I like that we're not blowing immediately. But I think the way that it develops, it most definitely, like, we can take a foul. And whether he looks like he may have gotten hit in the head too. And this is what created this whole circus act between these two people. I think like now he gets hit in the head. Now we have a possession consequence. You know, looking back at it, yeah, it just becomes an incorrect no call. Right, like good discipline coming in, and then what does the game do when we have like incorrect no calls or incorrect gotcha, right? And that's what we have now. This escalated when we could have just taken a foul right there, and now we've got what's happening. If you don't know, the bench is talking to the player, and we need to get right on into it. And now, it actually was first is being addressed to like a fan. Or like one of our spectators. But the spectator is on PyCap's bench. And PyCap is going to be responsible for their bench. So what I would have been fine with is giving a team technical foul to PyCap for the player that escalated all of this. The non-player, I'm sorry. Okay, sometimes when we see plays, that's a lot of contact. We referee the defense. 70% of our focus is on the defense. That's the defense. Right? Having an understanding what the offense is doing, but we want to make sure the defense is legal first. And on this play, defense gets to a spot. He jumps straight up, and now the offensive player jumps into a legal defender, right, torso to torso, and they both go down. It is absolutely, positively not a defensive foul. I know that's a lot of contact when we have 2 people going down. It's just part of the game. Like, this is part of the game. If you want to foul on this play, it's on your offensive player. Right? I'm glad that we have a no call, though. But I'm telling you, the defense is legal. He can get to that spot, and he can jump straight up. And the reason why he falls is because the offensive player runs right into his gut, and he doesn't land. Does this look like an offensive foul to you? Right. It doesn't look like an offensive foul to me as well. Okay. Does this look like a defensive foul to you? Then you're going to have to dig deep in the rule book to find something. I'll tell you what, we have something called planar verticality, and that, my friends, is a vertical defender. So really heck of a job. This player right here though, arms up. We want to address that, as like this is now becoming excessive. He's now inciting his bench as he goes to it. And Rainer, you are right there, right? And I'm not talking about giving him a technical foul. I'm just talking about talking to him, right? Redirect his focus. Get his focus on you. Let him know that you're listening, and he could use his words when speaking, right? He could use his words. He doesn't need to talk with his hands. By talking with his hands, he's showing you up, right? Are you going to permit that all game? Because we're promoting it right now by not doing anything. And it's a great no call. What an opportunity for us to be a team driven and like support our partners for having awesome discipline and not blowing. All right, I promise I got some place from that SigEp Bucket Squad game. They're towards the back end. Hang out for a little bit on my staff, because I'm also going to have a question on the back end to help get you compensated for this additional training. Yeah, all right, talk continuation. When the dribbler picks up the basketball, that interval going to the hoop like is all continuation. So if we have a foul in that interval, we put him on the line or score that basket. I think he gets fouled as soon as he catches the ball, right? But it is marginal, right? It is marginal contact. And now he's attacking the hoop, and that contact is still there. So it is a foul, but our timing of the whistle, if we're just like 0.2 of a second later, we're able to sell like free throws, right? Which is the whole purpose of the game, right? And Guardians of the Game, like I want us to like promote the purpose of it, just putting that ball in that bucket. But think big picture. What is the offense trying to do here? Is get the ball inside for an easy layup. High percentage shots come from right underneath the hoop. The further you get back from the hoop, the lower percentage that ball goes in. So they're trying to get it inside for a high percentage shot, and they do exactly that. They get it inside. The defender's actually boxed out. This is an easy layup, and now by not having free throws, we're making the offense do it all over again. You know what I mean? Like, you ever play video games back in the day? Like specifically, like, I don't know, maybe I'm too old, but you know Mario, and you get to the end of the first level, and you're about to beat the boss, right? And then you just gotta reset and start all over. That's kind of like the same thing, you know. I've been getting a video game kick recently, so there's my example. Not like I'm playing Mario, but we just reset the system on the staff team here, right? Where we could be 0.2 of a second later with our whistle, put them on the line. Actually, I think the whistle time is not bad. I think it's pretty good. Just put them on the line. And Isaiah, see how everyone's lined up, even your two partners. Right, that's context. And sometimes if you think like, oh, it should be on the floor, and you see everybody lined up, like you're trying to convince 10 people something that only you have, right? Just roll with it. Like take a look at Rainer. Oh, all right, yeah, cool. Rainer, thank you, 2 shots. Right? We kind of antagonize the game here by turning off that system. You know what I'm saying? All right, moving on. Okay, we are near the end of the game. Right now, the AP arrow favors the white team. We're at the end of the game. Shot goes up, so by rule, we don't have team control. I'm going to go ahead and reset it. I want you to make a decision. Do we have a timeout? Do we have possession in the timeout, or do we have a jump ball? Right? It looks like blue is going to have the initial rebound. And as he's going to the ground, he fumbles it, and then he jumps on top of it. As he's jumping on top of the ball, like, the ball was underneath him, and the ball's not like you can't get access to it for how he falls onto the basketball. So we can't have a jump ball. Like, I'm not going to give the staff team like, yo, you got your hands on that ball. We had simultaneous possession. Like, no, he jumped on that ball, and there's no chance there's simultaneous possession. So now I got to think, like, am I going to call a foul now on this? Because I know they're all thinking like maybe it's a jump ball. But I think it's definitely not a jump ball. That is not an option. So we can rule that out. So what are the other options? we give the blue team a timeout. They get ball, right? We're talking about there's less than 20 seconds left to go in this game. Staff infection's down, right? Or do we take a foul and we put Pi Kappa on the line to extend their lead? I love this decision. And it's not obvious, but like thinking about all the context, and I know Carlos, when he blew this dead, he knew, actually that's the next play I'm going to show you. This play is just timeout, or is it, a foul or a jump ball? Isaiah calls the timeout. You see him right down here? Yeah, look at him popping in that 30-second timeout like he got one. Look at him, granted. Go ahead, point to that bench area. Boom. Good stuff. I like that we have a timeout instead of a foul. It's absolutely not a jump ball, and he absolutely has possession as he is like got the ball like tucked like a football. The way he's holding the ball is how I hold a football when you're giving it to me on the goal line. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna let nobody touch it. All right, let's get to the next play. End of the game. End of the game. Staff is down 1. Let's take a look at this again. And I'm going to slow this down so we can see that on this pass, that possession is definitely White. White possesses this ball. So he is allowed to stand on the court where he's at. He falls because the defense is like on him and the defense hits his leg. So it can't be in, and then he just drops the ball. But what I'm worried about is our trail referee. He's on this play, and I think that maybe the injuries distracted him. I mean, Isaiah has had a heck of a first season. And I know what it's like having to get like needing repetitions and seeing stuff for the first time. And I know what it's like where like distractions happen in the game. And this can be a distraction when somebody gets hurt and you're unsure how he fell to the ground. It is across the court, but it is Trail's play. But what I like about this is that our slot, Rainer, he's on assist mode from slot. You know what I'm saying? Right here. And he's going to call this a foul. And it needs to be a foul. If we don't have this be a foul, we betrayed the game. Yeah, unintentionally, of course. No one's out there trying to make mistakes. Everyone is out there trying to do the best job that they can to their ability, right? And it's my job to make sure I got good enough crews to make sure all these games are supported. I'm doing a pretty good job. Good job, Rainer. My staff's making me look good. This is a foul. This is a foul. 2 shots. All right, you want some more juice? There's a gray area play. Staff is down. Maybe, in that last video I got the score wrong. It feels like the staff was down the entire game until like the very last 2-3 seconds. And they might be down right here. I believe they are down. And we're probably under 10 seconds left. And it's a great defense for getting that loose ball. And number 4, as he goes up, he is stripped. And Trail comes up with the travel, and I think everyone's like really concerned, like what's going on. Rainer, you need people to see. You need to understand this moment is like do or die for really both teams. And you're an outside referee, and you have a great look at this, right? You see how quick your hand goes up, then you go to a travel, right? You've got people who are getting the benefit of this call. Kind of like swarming you, right? And they don't even realize that, like, you called a travel. Well, I think 12 did. I think 12's trying to rest assure his team they're getting the ball back. Is it a travel? Well, once you have possession of the ball, you can't come down on the court. And I think when we look at what's obvious, and again, I do think this is gray, but what's most obvious to me is that Sam has possession of the ball as he's falling to the court, right? If you could probably spin it the other way and say, no, he didn't fully possess it until he was on the court, right? On his back. And then when he's on his back, he can't move. But I think the travel is because he possesses it as he's standing up and then he holds onto it as he's falling down. right? But what we need to do better here, Rainer, is I want you to hit the crap out of your whistle a couple times. Keep your hand up in the air, right, to stop the clock. But I want all eyes to be on you when you show this travel signal. And then show, your 3 revolutions. Then you're going to give the ball back to the staff team at the 3-foot inbound spot, right? And believe it or not, they'll have another life left to take the lead. So a really great job staying engaged, because all season I've been watching our staff bail out and place to the basket on trail. When I say bail out, I mean they start drifting down court in transition instead of staying right with the play and staying with the rebounds. And I think travel is best fitting, because if we're going to give the ball to Pi Kappa, have a foul here on staff, the game's over, Pi Kappa won. So, but there is an element here that it could be a travel. And I just don't want to see a team lose at the very end when there's an element. It's not like they're winning. They still have to get an inbound in, and they still have to score. So they're not winning the game based off this call, but they will absolutely positively lose the game based off this call. So I love the outcome, but I want a much better mechanic and better communication, so there is no confusion about what we're doing. Hope this helps. All right, 3 plays from that SigEp Buckets game. Here we go. I picked them last night. Looking at it for the first time, I'm not sure what I'm going to see. Oh, an offensive foul. Okay, this is Slots play. Good job, Nick. This is Slots play. It's a secondary defender, so we say like Leeds got secondary defenders. But the way where this play starts and develops, this slot all day, and I love how Nick gets his eyes to that defender, right? He detaches from Matt and gets his eyes to that defender taking it, and he stays right there. Your signals have come a long way, Nick. It looks much better. Still clean it up at the reporting area, but the fact of the matter is you got this baby right, and you came out firing. It looks good. It looks strong. Right, maybe post first with the hand up in the air. Good job. I like it. Correct call. Let's go ahead. We'll slide in the second one. I have an IC stamped on this. That stands for incorrect call. Oh, hands. Oh, we call a carry violation. That's right. Take a look at this again. The defender can't have a stayed hand on him, can't have 2 hands on him, can't have an arm bar on the dribbler. And as soon as this play starts engaging, the defense has a hand on him. And then as it develops, he keeps a hand on him. So whatever you see with like that carry, whether it is or it isn't, I'm letting that go, right? I'm going to let that still be an active dribble. I'm not taking the ball away, because whatever he may have done with this carry violation that you saw, it is not more obvious than the defense having hands on the dribbler. So if you want to let the defense skirt on this without no foul, then just let that go and just keep that ball alive. I don't want us to take the ball away from the offense. Shoot, the reason why you may have saw that violation is because he got met with hands on him. It's illegal. And what did we say? Let's get to that last play. Sliding on in. This game went to double OT. And I thought they did a well job. I didn't really, cut too much from it. Same player who got the offensive foul earlier. He's trying to get it again. It's not an offensive foul. This is a play on, right? And why I say it's a play on is we're towards the end of the game. This is their last possession, or towards the end of the overtime. This is their last possession, and right, they need to put that ball in the bucket. And this is a defensive foul, but the pass goes, to an open 3-point shooter. So I'm good to let that pass go and see if it drops for a make. Oh, just short. But they were like an inch away from winning. And kind of like I talked about earlier, we're going to take a foul on that. You're going to make them reset. And with not a lot of time left, that's really hard for them to go ahead and get another shot like that. We're going to have to get an inbound, and there's, it's going to be tougher. So he thinks that it was an offensive foul because he got something similar in the first half. Well, in this play, he's never legal, and he slides in the path of a dribbler, right? He's not legal, and yeah, and the blocking foul too that I would want to call does do absolutely nothing to the dribbler, right? When we think rhythm, speed, balance, quickness, like take a look when he slides in, the only one who falls down, like it's a clean pass, right? And they get the look that they want. Just it didn't drop. Hey, really great job. Really good job. Who was on that game? Brunier, Jay, and Nick. Yeah, they killed it. Same with the three that did the Staff and Pie Cat game. Was that Rainer again? Rainer, Isaiah, and Carlos. Job well done. We'll be interested to see who does the semifinal. Hey, staff, if you're still with me, shoot me an email about a couple of nuggets, two nuggets that you can learn from this. Right? Again, focus on the intangible skills. It's the same stuff that we deal with all of our sports. So some of you might have refereed your last basketball game or volleyball game of the season, but we still have futsal, soccer, and softball, right? And those that are coming back, resume with flag football. So everything that we're learning in basketball is going to help us be a better referee in those sports. And those that are still refereeing basketball, we got some big ones next week. And I want you to improve upon this. All right, those are still working. So have a good weekend, and those participants that tuned in, thank you for watching. This is Serving Our Futures.